Welcome to the news. We've had a lot go on in politics. Last week, the vice presidential debate was held, in which Joe, I'm a Big Boy Biden, went head-to-head with Paul, I peed my pants Ryan. Those nicknames aren't based on my political preference, but rather the words they most commonly used as children. So yeah, politics. Anyway, also last week, Esquire named Mila Kunis the sexiest woman alive. Cleopatra continues her dominance in Sexiest Woman Dead. If you don't know who Mila Kunis is, here's what she looks like. Okay, technically that's a cartoon character from Family Guy, but she is voiced by Mila Kunis. Every time I see Kunis, I think of Meg Griffin. Mostly by choice, but still, it's not a visual that inspires an erect penis. Come to think of it, there aren't too many attractive daughter characters in cartoons. Maybe it's because they're cartoons, or maybe it's because they're underage, or possibly both. But if I had to pick the most attractive daughter character in cartoons, I'd pick the daughter from the Cleveland Show, or the blonde chick from King of the Hill. Technically I think Luann is a niece, but let's say it counts. Also, do not Google Luann from King of the Hill, unless you're into animated pornography that may contain some incest. Really, Internet? I can't find where to download the entire series run of that show based on the Geico Caveman, yet you make it readily available for me to see Luann blowing Hank Hill while Dale and Boomhauer are DPing her. Anyway, here's what Mila Kunis really looks like. I am utterly outraged. I know you're watching, Kunis, and I don't mean to offend you, or your boy toy, who I couldn't decide if he was hot or not, but after Googling Ashton, hot, Kutcher, I decided that I'll concede to him being hot with the short hair, but I'm not down with the long hair. For him or me. The point is, yes, Mila Kunis, you were very attractive, but I'm not so sure about Sexiest Woman Alive. I mean, what even went in to deciding the Sexiest Woman Alive? Being sexy is more than just appearance. A lot of things go into a woman's sex appeal. Intelligence, boobs, butt, hair, feet, fingers, nose, that little pit on the opposite side of the elbow, eyeballs, eyelashes. I need to want to have sex with her. Does she have a tramp stamp? I'm into that. You get the point. Being sexy is more than just looks. But it's mostly just looks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news you can use. So try not to abuse the elderly, 'cause they get confused. I was trying to come up with a new sign-off. This past Sunday, my Seattle Seahawks had a huge come-from-behind win against the New England Patriots. I say my Seattle Seahawks because even though I don't own the team, or play for the team, or even live in Seattle, I was the sole reason they won that game. The score was Seattle 17, New England 23. Seattle had just forced New England to punt and gotten the ball back. The 2-minute warning came. I had to pee. The only problem was, since the last time I'd gone pee, Seattle had scored a touchdown and things were going pretty well for them. So if I go pee again, that's going to throw off the entire balance of the universe, and there'll be no way that Seattle can come back and win the game. So what do? We'll get back to that in a second. Superstitions are a curious thing. Cats are also known to be curious. Monkey's named George. My Aunt Martha. Unfortunately, she got a bit too curious, and I had to put a stop to that. No, I didn't kill my aunt. I hired someone to. But my hands are clean, though. Right, God? Anyway, I know a lot about superstition. Not because I've read any books. At all. In my entire life. About anything, in fact. But because I have a bit of, as Tobias Funke would say, the OC disorder. Obsessive compulsion is basically just a shitstorm of superstition, as I believe the medical dictionary describes it as. So my entire childhood was just one big, if I don't do this until it feels exactly right, I will implode into myself starting from the anus. Now, despite how ridiculous and utterly scary that seemed, in my head it was perfectly feasible, so out of fear I did things obsessively, as well as compulsively. It was kind of a disorder. One prime example is when I had braces back in my school days. The braces always felt funky in my mouth, and over time, I developed a weird ritual to appease whatever fucked up thing was going on in my mind. I don't recall most of it, but it may have involved speaking in tongues and sacrificing a virgin aborigine, but I'm certain it ended with me doing this. What the fuck is this anyway? I listen to this like 70 times a day. Even at school. I look ridiculous. Huh? Oh. I said, what the fuck is this anyway? I must have done this like 70 times a day. Even at school. I looked ridiculous. But if I didn't do it, I felt uncomfortable. That's how strong the force is. Every time a girl looked at me, she must have seen, and then went and blew some other guy. No wonder I never got laid. But now things are completely different. I don't have so many dumb superstitions, and I've been laid half a time. Technically, my penis wasn't inside the vagina per se, but it was relatively close to that general region. I was able to get rid of most of my filliness. Obviously not all of it. But how? Easy. I just flip the shit back at itself. Example. So I'm lying in bed at night and my mind starts to think, wait, did you put the toilet seat down? And I'm like, why the fuck are you thinking about that? Would you like me to go back to thinking about how you're such a huge loser with no girlfriend who still lives at home at 25 and can't drive and is gonna die alone? Touché. So about this toilet seat. You didn't put it down. Now even though you're about to finally fall asleep after an hour of negative thoughts, you must ruin everything by getting your ass out of bed, going to the bathroom, seeing that the toilet seat really was down like you knew all along, then laying back down in bed for another hour of negative thoughts before you finally fall asleep. Wait a second. You can't trick me, mind. You just said I knew the toilet seat really is down. Maybe. But when your mom gets up in the middle of the night to go to the potty, and she sits on that cold porcelain instead of the padded seat, she'll jump up in a shock, slip, and break her clavicle. Oh no, Mommy! And that's where the fear sets in. What's the only way to fight fear? With more fear. My mom, may break her clavicle if I don't get up to check if the toilet seat really is down, but now let me create my own little scenario. If I do get up, instead of just falling asleep, then a meteor will crush my house. So now I have some choices. Either my mom is going to break her clavicle, or a meteor will crush my house. Sorry, Mom, but I'm going to bed. So I have to pee. Not right now. Well, I do. But I mean back in the story of my heroic victory over the New England Patriots. Do I pee, then watch my Seattle Seahawks lose all because of my stupid small bladder? Or watch the rest of the game in annoying pain and assuredly wet myself as the Seahawks score the game-winning touchdown? The choice was easy. I went pee. I have almost nothing figured out, but I do know one thing. The universe is a bitch. If I would have sat there, penis ready to explode urine all over the place, believing in my silly superstition, the universe would have gave me a big fuck you in the form of a Seahawks loss as punishment. But because I got my ass up, then sat it back down in the toilet, sometimes I'm too lazy to want to have to aim. The universe got confused and thought I didn't care if the Seahawks lost, and made the Seahawks win. The lesson here: don't let the universe or your mind make you its bitch. You make them your bitch. Kids. Am I the only one who gets lint stuck in their ass crack?